Well, here at last, Phase 3 of Singapore's reopening starts today, allowing bigger groups of family and friends to meet and eat together. Extended by popular demand, Pioneer and Merdeka Generation seniors can look forward to another year of discounts at fair price. And Jurong Bird Park is celebrating its 50th birthday with admission tickets priced at $2.50. It's the last Monday of 2020. Good evening, you're watching The Big Story and I'm coming to you live from the Straits Times newsroom. I'm Haryanto Diman. Now you can subscribe to the Straits Times channel so you never miss a single episode. Well, this is it, the first day of the long-awaited third phase of Singapore's safe reopening, where more restrictions are eased and activities allowed to resume. Attractions and eateries have geared up for the bigger crowd, with group size of up to 8 now allowed together. For instance, seat markings in hawker centres here have been adjusted to signal the increase in gathering size. Tables with 8 seats or less will no longer have any seat markings, while those with more than 8 will have some seats marked out to ensure that the 8 persons limit is observed. Dining groups, though, will still have to keep 1 meter from each other. Where adjacent tables are less than 1 meter apart, some seats may be marked out to maintain safe distancing. Safe distancing ambassadors will continue to be deployed at hawker centres to ensure compliance with safe management measures. Meanwhile, from next Monday, January 4th, access control measures at 7 markets here will also be removed. They include Block 448 Clementi Avenue 3, Block 628 Ang Mo Kio Avenue 4 and Block 216 Bedok North Street 1. 13 other markets, however, will continue to have access control measures as they've been observed to still have long queues. They are the Geylang Serai Market, Chong Pang Market, Block 2021 Marsiling Lane and Block 505 Jurong West Street 52. With more relaxed measures expected, how are business owners preparing for bigger crowds in Phase 3? Well, we have multimedia correspondent Sam Jo, who is currently at Holland Village, a popular spot among residents for dining out. Sam Jo, what's the mood there like right now?
Hello, Jan. Well, as you can see behind me, it's day 1 of Phase 3, but already people are coming out. People are starting to gather in larger groups. As you know, right now it's the festive season, right? So a lot of people are actually on, clearing their leave, especially towards the end of the year. So we've been here all afternoon, and we already saw earlier in the afternoon people, sitting down for a leisurely afternoon beer. Some of them even sitting down for a late lunch, and some people behind me right now starting their early dinner. So already we're starting to see some restaurants like, join up their smaller tables, transiting from Phase 2 over to Phase 3, because now they can take groups of up to 8. So we've seen restaurants rearranging their furniture around, especially during the lull period in the afternoon. But this is Holland Village, right? And things really only start to happen here after the sun sets, and you can see it's not quite evening yet, or at least we're approaching it. So it really remains to be seen. Plus, it's a Monday afternoon. So the crowds are, there are some people here, but it's not very crowded at the moment. So everything is pretty much up in the air.
Right. And Sanjo, you spoke to some F&B outlets, outlet owners there as well. What are they anticipating with regard to the loosened measures in Phase 3?
Well, quite a few things. I mean, firstly, traditionally, because it's the festive season, businesses would typically look forward to, higher footfall, especially in an area that's typically crowded like Lorong Mambong in Holland Village, right? But I actually spoke to some of the business owners, and they were saying that, contrary to popular belief, last weekend, which was the Christmas weekend, a long weekend, you would expect more crowds to actually start roaming the area. But they were saying that it was actually quite quiet here in Holland Village, especially compared to previous weekends. They're suspecting that maybe it's because, people prefer to stay at home to celebrate Christmas with their family. Some even blame the weather. In fact, it's quite cloudy here right now, and it's been raining for quite a bit in the past few weeks. So that might actually have, tempered with people's desire to come out and dine out, So yeah, businesses are pretty much still remaining hopeful. They see phase 3 as like a breath of fresh air in a sense, breathing new lease of life, so to speak, into their business, because now, they're allowing bigger groups, and previously a lot of restaurants had to turn away groups larger than 5, but now they actually, can take groups of up to 8. So that's definitely something that they're welcoming. Some restaurants, however, did point out that because, there is a ban on al fresco dining here at Lorong Mambong in Holland Village, and so they're saying that, despite phase 3, despite the new measures and everything, with fewer seats, there's only so much they can do to recoup their business losses. So I spoke to some of them earlier, and here's what they had to say. Take a look.
Phase 2 was, some people, they come in groups like for 6 or 7, so we was not taking them because of the rules. According to the law, it was people can came in for like 5, max 5. So we was losing so many of customers. So phase 3 implement for 8 people might be we get back the people those we lost, those customers we lost. So hopefully, finger crossed, they will get back to us again.
My reservations until New Year is fully booked. So I'm afraid that who those come for the Lanona by walking, I have no table for them. So for me, if we allow us to open the outdoor area like last time, so I will be more happy for this.
So as you can see, Jan, business is definitely, businesses are looking forward to phase 3. They're excited, they're welcoming and embracing phase 3 with open arms because, you would think it would mean more customers. But this whole year has been so unpredictable, what with COVID and everything. So they're still a bit jittery about what 2021 has in store. But I guess we will find out and only time will tell. Back to you in the studio.
Well, thank you so much, Sam Jo, for the on-the-ground updates. That was multimedia correspondent Sam Jo, who is currently at Holland Village, and he spoke to some business owners as they prepare to usher in phase 3. Now, also from today, there will be a further reopening of other activities in the community. For example, capacity limits for attractions will increase to 65%, while the limit for shopping malls and large standalone stores will increase to 8 square meters per person. Religious organizations can hold services for up to 250 people, conducted in zones of up to 50 each. And for marriage solemnizations, a total of 10 persons plus up to 8 visitors are allowed. And starting on Wednesday, Singapore will begin its COVID-19 vaccination exercise. First up are healthcare workers at the National Centre for Infectious Diseases, followed by the elderly aged 70 and older next February. The entire adult population will be offered free vaccinations on a voluntary basis. But as Singapore moves into this long-awaited phase 3 with all the loosened measures, it's not a return to life as we knew it before COVID. Infectious diseases specialist Dr. Leong Hoe Nam joins me now. Now, Dr. Leong is from the Rophi Clinic at Mount Elizabeth Novena. Doctor, experts like yourself have said that one of the hotspots for a potential outbreak is dining out, because that's when people have their masks off, eating and talking at the same time. Now, with the group size allowed up to 8, is there anything we need to do differently when dining out?
The risk is always there. When we take off the mask, we can actually transmit to others and others transmit it back to us. So the mask is a very effective protective mechanism. We have to keep that in our minds. Now, when we actually do 8 persons, the problem is not only will you pass on to 1 person, but you can pass on to 8 people and the spread become exponential at the same time. It really tells us that we are very vulnerable. If we want our economy to open up, we want our tummies to open up to the feasting, then we must play the part. Unfortunately, it really goes back to when you eat, take off the mask. When you're not eating, when you're not drinking, put the mask back on. We have to be diligent in this. Singapore is at risk. We may bear the consequences if we are not careful.
Right. Doctor, looking at the bigger picture now, what else can we do on an individual level on top of the 3 things that we've been doing? Like you said earlier on, masking, observing physical distancing and practicing hand hygiene as more restrictions ease and activities restart in phase 3.
Think of all these measures as an extra layer of protection. So we have masks first layer, social distancing, another layer. Third layer is actually your hand hygiene, keeping it clean. Fourth layer is your Trace Together app. Fifth layer is actually your safe entry. But now, coming on the 30th of December, we have yet another layer, which is the vaccines. If we have multiple layers, if any of them were to fall through, then we can still contain it very quickly. Now, we need to remind everyone that it is not just about the government doing the actions, but all of us playing the part, from wearing the mask and safe distancing and doing the safe entries, etc. Only when all of us work together, cooperate together, then we have a tight wall of defense against the virus coming into Singapore. Now, I know the temptation is there to stop wearing masks because we have literally zero cases. But this virus is like a tiger that will prowl around us. Once it finds the weakest point, it will hit us. So go back to the 5 layers which I talked about, plus the vaccines, and that will keep Singapore safe. I want to remind you, look at all the countries around us. Any country that opened up, they had new cases. So it looks as if new cases is a definite, it's definitive. It will happen. Well, Singapore can make that difference.
Right. On that note, Doctor, of course, the world is watching us right now as we enter phase 3. And as you rightly mentioned as well, other countries like South Korea and Hong Kong, they tried to reopen but did not fare so well, facing another wave. So what are the lessons that we can learn from these countries and the potential pitfalls that we should look out for?
Look at it. Hong Kong, Korea, Taiwan, they did beautifully. Even China. China was really draconian. But when they opened up the economy and they opened up the port and people started coming in and out, they get new infections again. So it tells us that this virus is very, very good. It transmits very effectively. And you have to bring it into context. Now we have the B117 mutation coming from UK. The transmissibility goes up by easily 50 to 70%. In the face of all this, with high transmissibility, can Singapore escape the next COVID local case? I don't think so. I'm going to be very honest and say that it will be very, very difficult. So in that sense, it is a given that we will have another local community case. But if that local community case falls through, then it goes down to the 5 layers of defense, which I talked about, together with the vaccine is the 6th layer. With these 6 layers, we can then contain the virus to as small a group as possible so that we don't go back to circuit breaker. Honestly, the circuit breaker has left etched permanent battle scars, psychological scars, as well as financial scars on the whole economy. Ourselves, our families, our loved ones, and the whole economy of Singapore. I don't want to go back there. And the only way to do it is that all of us observe all the rules and principles clearly. Look at how South Korea broke through. Look at how Hong Kong broke through. You realize through the ports of entry, people came in and they were not detected. You realize that when there's a super spreading event happened, people were not wearing a mask consistently and they were not doing their safe distancing. Now, Singapore and Hong Kong has the disadvantage which we don't have. Okay, and that is the cold weather. The cold weather makes the transmissibility easier. Singapore is helped by the weather. It is a bit cooler, but the weather will still help us nonetheless.
Right. Dr. Leong, just to round up our discussion today, at this juncture, compared to a few months back when we faced an explosion of cases in the workers' dormitories, how better placed is Singapore in the event that another wave occurs?
We are really much better. The mask, for one, we are no longer struggling with masks. You can even buy disposable masks off the shelves easily. We have reusable masks is given by the government, and many creative entrepreneur individuals have started making them. Masks make a lot of difference. So unlike yesteryears, we have better masks. Number 2, we have much better tracing capabilities. Back in February and March, we were using technology based on 1918 works. Manual tracing of contact. That is ridiculous. We can't do it fast enough, and we can't do it on a large scale. So now we have the Trace Together app, which I carry along with me all the time. Trace Together, and with the safe entry, we can actually track people as to whom they came in contact with. Not where they've been, but the infected people will come in contact with. Literally at the snap of a finger, at a press of a button, we can inform them through the Trace Together app that you've been exposed and you may be at risk to your loved ones. That way, we can contain the information much better. Number 3, we have a trained group of people who know safe distancing and wearing a mask. This has been drilled into us repeatedly for the last few months. We have become more proficient in it. And number 4, very importantly, we have actually very tight systems of control. We have better control of port people coming into Singapore. You realize compared to yesteryears, or rather at the beginning of the epidemic, we are swabbing people when they come in. We're swabbing people when they leave the stay-home notice. We're swabbing a lot of foreign dormitory workers as well routinely. We're swabbing airport officials and those people who come in contact with foreigners. And mind you, the number of tests which we can do now is several thousands compared to just about 500 or even less at the start. So things are very different. The systems are in place. The only thing is, are we compliant to the rules? If we are compliant, I would love Singapore to be the country that evades COVID-19 wave again.
Right. Always appreciate your time, Dr. Leong. I've been speaking to Dr. Leong Hoe Nam, an infectious diseases specialist from the Rophi Clinic. With food waste a huge global problem, more businesses are finding new, imaginative ways to transform unwanted food into a valuable resource. In partnership with DBS Bank, the final part of our series on food waste looks at how insects are being used to fight food waste.
So food waste is a big problem in Singapore. In fact, we have one of the highest per capita rates of food waste in our region. The power of the black soldier flies is their ability to upcycle food waste by eating it and converting it into valuable biomaterials. Other than the usual animal feed, which is their body mass, or the fertilizer, which is their poo, that can be used in the livestock and the agriculture industry. What Insecta does is we take the black soldier fly and extract materials that can be used in pharmaceutical and cosmetic industries, and that really increases the value of the food waste. Where it once was a negative value product, it's now a positive value product that is worth few $100s a gram. One of the biomaterials we make is called chitosan. And this chitosan is a very potent wound healing agent. It can go into bandages, it can go into stitches or sutures, and it also can go into antimicrobial coatings. Other than that, it can be used as a moisturizer for your face. So imagine that, insect-derived cosmetics. I mean, it's not too far-fetched. We already have snail slime cosmetics, right? And chitosan is also known to be a supplement used to lower cholesterol levels in the blood.
You can read more at the Live More Waste Less series on the Straits Times website. The other parts of the series are in this link as well. An update on the COVID-19 situation here. 5 new cases were confirmed today. Now, of them, 1 is in the community. It's the first community case in the country since December 21st. The remaining 4 cases were imported and placed on stay-home notice or isolated when they arrived in Singapore. More details will be shared tonight. In other local news, about 3,500 madrasah students will benefit from a special COVID-19 disbursement from the Islamic Religious Council of Singapore. A one-off sum of $500,000 will go towards supporting student programs at 6 full-time Islamic religious schools. Madrasahs, which rely heavily on community support, had several fundraising events suspended or cancelled during the pandemic. Singapore's largest retailer, FairPrice, is extending discounts for elderly customers for another year. From January 1st, Pioneer Generation seniors will continue to enjoy a 3% discount when they shop on Mondays and Wednesdays. Merdeka Generation seniors will also get 3% off their groceries every Wednesday. FairPrice said the discount schemes helped members and seniors save over $7.7 million last year. Meanwhile, a group of teenagers is being investigated for animal cruelty after they allegedly played foosball using live frogs. Images from social media show the teens unboxing about a dozen live frogs and then hitting the ball around as the frog tries to avoid being hit. It was also alleged that one of the youths in the video is already under police investigation for trespassing into the white rhino enclosure at the Singapore Zoo. Hey, to celebrate its 50th birthday, Jurong Bird Park will lower its admission prices for the whole of January. Tickets will be priced at $2.50 for all local residents. The admission price when the park opened in 1971. Wow, what a bargain indeed. Tickets are normally priced at $32 for adults and $21 for children. And those are our top stories for today. For more news and videos, visit straitstimes.com and remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel by hitting the red button below. Once again, I'm Haryanto Diman. Thanks for watching and I'll see you tomorrow.